Hello, everyone. I am back for season 2 of the Hard Cannon podcast. Oh my gosh, we've gone through so many episodes. I think probably close to maybe a dozen or so episodes of just great topics, great content, and overall just a great time with my friends getting ready to talk about so many different topics for you all, whether we're talking about characters, books, moments in history, and just anything that just comes to the mind that we all just think about during the day, and we have that honestly just the ability to talk about with friends. We all get to have that now, and we're all sharing it. And now we have a new season, and with this new season is going to be new topics, new characters, but also a new set of questions that'll be popping up on one particular episode, and you'll see those on my TikTok channel. We'll be discussing those probably in episodes or probably one major episodes, depending on it. And if possible, we might even go live one day on the channel that you guys can actually join us for it. But for right now, let's just start this particular episode. But before we get into this episode, I want to introduce my co-host, Sparks. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Ray, thanks for having me back on the show. Super excited for your second season, and I'm ready to get going on our topics. It's going to be a great time.
This is honestly one of my favorite topics, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. I still play this game to this day, and they've just gotten more popular, and they have brought in more characters, and even now people still they roast the game. I know that there's that typical attitude of like, if you suck at it, get better or something like that, but it's a game for everyone of all ages, and the story is even more timeless as long as the game is going on, which is actually hitting its 10th year of release. We are talking about Overwatch. Overwatch is one of those games that you hear everybody plays. You're not honestly, everybody plays it, but you never are sure who mains what, because everybody says like, I play this, I play that. I play Reaper, I play Junkrat. It's like, you just don't play that. You play a bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was a Mercy one trick, as I was named, because that is the only character I played, and I had hundreds and hundreds of hours, and then the closest one after Mercy hit like 30 hours at most.
and and then the few times that you and I actually got to play, you played Mercy, I played Moira. We were a heck of a team.
Yeah, we were.
Like, if you guys ever want to go to my Overwatch playlist folder, there is a match with me and Sparks playing together, and we had a match that is probably my greatest match in Overwatch I've ever had. And I still go back to this match days when I'm just sitting around, and I'm like, I want to just watch something like enjoyable, and it still brings me joy because, like I said, it's my best match in Overwatch, my best comp match in Overwatch as well too.
So many elims.
Oh, so many healings. Oh, our call sign, Coco.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we used to call each other. It was a great time, and it also just shows you how fun that game was. That we made a lot of memories with it. Millions of people around the world have made memories with this game. It did have a lasting impact on folks, for better or for worse. And wow, until you said it, I didn't realize it. It's been a decade since that game came out. It was addicting. It was easy. It was quick to pick up, even if some of the characters were a little harder. Either way, it offered a challenge that kept people wanting to play. Rapid fire loading screens into the next game, into the next match, comp, ranked, just standard quick play, seasonal events. They built an empire over at Blizzard, and some say it fell, some say it continues to this day.
And like the one thing that was constantly consistent with it was that no matter how much the game changed with updates and everything like that, they made sure that this game was free to play for people.
Yes.
No matter how far along they've gone and like how many more characters been introduced, or what is it? The events they had, or even when the game transitions to Overwatch 1 and 2, they made sure that the game was free to play for everyone.
And if focusing on the beginning with Overwatch 1, the loot boxes were there. And obviously, some people got heckin' addicted and wanted to spend actual currency on it. But that was not an end all be all. You could just earn XP and level up and get loot boxes. And I think that was something that really worked in that game's favor.
Well, at one time, how many loot boxes did you have that were unopened at one time? My record, I believe I had was, I think 118, I believe, unopened.
Way too many. Way too many. But it encouraged you to keep playing because, see, that's the thing. Is you sacrifice profit because whoever's going to buy loot boxes, they're going to buy them anyway. And then you have people who are just going to keep playing because they want to level up. They want to do the events. And you make a game that's so addicting and fun between what are the modes? You got point capture, you got payload moving. There's a third one I'm missing. It's just not clicking with me.
Let me see. Payload, point capture, and oh god,
It was a third one. I can't be crazy.
No. Let me see. I'm going over the maps.
Maybe it was just those two. It might have just been those two.
Payloads, point capture. Actually, yeah, I think you're right. It's payloads and point captures.
Huh. Yeah, but look at that. Even that, just two modes primarily, and how many people played that damn game?
Millions upon millions.
Yes.
So before we jump into this amazing topic, I did have a question for you, and we're going to answer this at the end of the episode because this is something I want to drag on. I don't want to drag it on into this episode, but it's something that we can answer at the end of it. So I've been posting certain scenarios and pictures to my TikTok, and I wanted to ask you. So you know the character Danny Phantom, Miles Morales, Aang, Percy Jackson, Potter, Luke Skywalker, Sora, and Static Shock. Like, you know all these guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're all heroes in their own right, in their own different universe. But to you, and again, you don't have to answer this now. We'll answer it at the end of the episode. To you, out of these 8 characters, who do you think embodies the words, "With great power comes great responsibility"?
Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. I will cook on my answer. Let me cook. And I will serve you up an answer at the end of this podcast. We're going to heat it in the microwave.
Definitely. And for the folks that are listening about it at home, tell us what your answer will be. It'll be posted on my my TikTok and my Instagram, and let us know what your answer would be for those 8 fine young gentlemen. But talking about heroes, let's converge back into Overwatch, a game based around heroes. And the first question I do want to ask you, how did you get into Overwatch?
Okay. So I was a late bloomer into Overwatch, and how I got into it is just yet another testament to how popular this game was. I got into it because everybody was playing it. Anyone I knew who was also a gamer, Overwatch was in their top 3. They were already playing it. People were cosplaying from it. They were fan art. Fan art was all over the place. And it got to the point of music. Like, people were making songs for it. Like, I'm not going to be murdered. Like, it was all over YouTube. I had to get in on it. I was like, all right, well, I got to play too then. And I joined because I remember when the first cutscene for this game dropped. I hadn't played it yet, but they did their first like big cinematic, and it had these 2 kids in like a museum talking about the characters.
Yes.
And yeah. And then Winston shows up, and there's one moment in that cinematic that really spoke to me. And it's so Tracer like powers down, like she's having some issues, and then the kids step in to help, and they're fighting Widowmaker. And then when Tracer powers back up and the music kicks in and she goes, yeah, and she jumps in, that moment made me feel like this is something really exciting. I know it's so random, it's such a small thing, but I was like, that got me into it. I'm going to play this game. And at the time, I had just started a job as a lifeguard. And I said, you know what? It'd be fitting if I did Mercy and easy controls to pick up. And I was having fun, man. That was one of my first like support character roles. And I was having so much fun with that blonde mosquito.
The one thing that Blizzard continues to do that they like they are excellent at it. Like, oh my gosh, they're so good at it. Is when it comes to their cinematic trailers, even though this trailer is like what maybe 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes at the most, they go big in their cinematic trailer, especially when they're
Oh,
introducing
yeah.
a character or they're doing the background of a character. Like they make you feel for that character. Like still to this day, my favorite cinematic is the Reinhardt cinematic. Like I love that cinematic so much. Like, oh man. And like
Yeah.
when I watch people's reactions to Reinhardt cinematic, like it's always the same. Like it's like that. Like there's tears. Like especially those ones that like who are combat veterans and everything like that. Like they feel that emotion of losing that brother or having that brother do that last stand, and you're the one that survives and goes on. Like it radiates with you in some type of way. And like to answer my own question, like the reason I got into the game, I jumped to the game I think around, I want to say 2019, and I was actually invited by a friend to come play. And he told me, he said, like, do you play Overwatch? I said, like, no, I don't know what it is, because at the time I was heavy into Skyrim, into what was it? I was playing Assassin's Creed almost religiously. Like I didn't play anything else. Like, and I asked him like, how much is it? And he said like, it's free. I'm like, it's free. I'm okay. Well, bet. Let's try it. And the moment I picked the controller up and I started playing, I was hooked. I knew immediately. Like, and then I had a buddy of mine. My buddy of mine named Ace. He actually, because again, when I picked it up, I was bad. I was bad at it. I have no shame. I have no problem saying like I sucked at the game when I played it. I have no pride in saying that. But a buddy of mine named Ace, he literally was like, I got you. We're gonna get you good. And what he did was he put me on to Orisa, and he played Lucio. And after about 2 weeks of us gaming every single night for at least 2 to 3 hours, I slowly got better. And I was an Orisa main, and I was a monster as Orisa. I was a monster. And I slowly started like what is it? I slowly started transitioning to different characters and growing with different characters, but I always went back to Orisa. And and even now I still look back at the gameplay that I uploaded to my channel, and I'm like, I hear myself playing and I'm like, I sound like I'm having so much fun, even though I'm raging like a maniac over these games. Like I still feel and hear the excitement and the love of the game in my voice.
Man, I'm gonna have to rewatch that video of us now, see how much fun we're having.
Dude, it's so good. And just the call outs, like there's points where we're playing in the match, and like I'm laughing so much because I'm remembering stuff that's happened in the match, because I basically have the match memorized in my head, and us just like screaming because we're about to die, or our health is so low, and like, it's
Oh, well, and we would get really into it. And what that goes to show you again, we're just one story. There are so many people who adored Overwatch's gameplay, make friends. You could make lobbies where you were just messing around. It it was Fortnite. It's what Fortnite is now, but then, like, Fortnite was obviously popular from the beginning. I'm gonna touch on Fortnite now. I'm gonna come back to it later for this ironic twist that's happening this season. But when Fortnite was getting started, people were still pooping on it a lot, and a lot of people didn't enjoy it. And they made a lot of comparisons to saying Fortnite was copying Overwatch. Overwatch was the place to be.
Yes.
If you were playing games, it doesn't matter, PC, Xbox, PS5, 4 at the time. It was just everybody was on. You were connecting to matches left and right because people were like overpouring in to play, and cinematics were coming out left and right whenever they were announcing new characters. New characters were joining the roster. You had the holiday events. Yeah, Halloween,
Oh
Christmas.
yes. Halloween event was one
And
of my
yeah,
favorites. My God, I love the Halloween events. Junkenstein's Revenge. Whew, that was a good time.
Frankenstein's Revenge.
Man, that game that I don't want to even say that game. That particular mini game was so fun to play, and
Yeah.
I never played it on its hardest mode. I wanted to, but I just like my friends didn't want to because they knew we were going to get crushed immediately. I still to this day have not played it on its hardest mode. I want to, and I might try it during this year's Halloween event just to see how I do, and just to see if I can actually do it. Because I've beaten that mini
Why
game
not?
on all the other levels, but I haven't tried it on the hardest level yet.
We might have to do a reunion team up in Overwatch.
Hey, like if me and my editor can get it done, we will live stream it over on Discord, and we will openly play it for everyone, and you can hear us screaming, yelling, and raging like we used to when all those years
Coco
ago.
6 years later. But it also shows you the game had a little bit of everything for anyone. They had glimpses. I think they fell short in a couple spots. I'm going to go back to what you were saying with the cinematics.
Yeah.
I think Blizzard missed the time window to make a movie deal
Oh
because
God, yes.
you know how many people would have packed those seats for an Overwatch movie, preferably animated. Live action, I think, would have been a mess. But the blueprint was there, because here's where Overwatch never fully reached its potential. All of those cinematics were a prequel to the cutscene we're going to see later in Overwatch 2 when we get there. I keep calling them cutscenes, cinematics. Everything was getting the gang back together. It's basically the Sokovia Accords had happened, but for Overwatch characters where they can't help people, whatever. And each episode either told the story of a character or how that character is going to come back. And people wanted more lore. And every once in a while, they drop these little like, oh, team up with 3 other people and do this mission that takes place in the story. And then they just did nothing with that. They had so much to expand on, and they didn't.
And I think there was a rumor that went around. I think right after COVID. I think it was either before COVID or right after COVID. It was between that time where there was a rumor going around that Netflix was going to try and do an Overwatch like not show but movie, and then the rumor bounced to like a possible show. And I'm like, whether you do a show or a movie, it does not matter. People are going to watch it, and people are going to enjoy it because you know what? You're at the height of your popularity for this game. And if you put something out now, I guarantee you're going to add millions of more players to this game.
Yes. And missed opportunity. Hands down, one of the downfalls of that game, because they made extended lore. There were comics through Dark Horse Comics. I had the first edition. I don't know if they ever made any, but they were all, again, mini stories. They loved making their freaking build-ups, their prologues, preludes, prequels, everything, but everything except the main story. and that's what everyone wanted. And that's from the story side of things. There was, I mean, do you know how popular your characters have to be that they all have this deep lore and these attracted fans and connections with them without a story mode?
Yep.
Like that's amazing. And I just think they really dropped the ball and did not trust their characters to sustain themselves in a story. And then from the multiplayer perspective, I think their downfall was online. Competitive. Obviously, it was fun. Obviously, it was fast paced. People loved it. And to a certain extent, when you game online, it's been like this since Call of Duty, you're going to meet toxic people. And it's
Yep.
only gotten worse. That's
Mhm.
nothing new. But I do think Overwatch was one of the worst online communities in the competitive side of things that I've ever played
Oh,
on. And COD lobbies are bad. COD lobbies are a terrible place. Burn them. But Overwatch was up there.
so I've gone through the experience of being through multiple lobbies before. I've gone through a, Call of Duty lobbies. I've gone through through Overwatch lobbies. I've lived through both of them through multiple in COD's case multiple games. Here's the big difference between the two.
What do you got?
When it comes to Call of Duty lobbies, it is like being in middle school and high school when it come and like there's no reason for them to hold back when they tell you like John Mulaney honestly said it best. Like they're going to make fun of you, but in an accurate way. And and they're gonna make sure like they're gonna cut deep. Like when there's no such thing as holding back on your mama joke. There's no joke. They made fun of your gameplay, your name, your gamer tag name. That
Your
your voice
voice.
sounds like a girl or something like that. Like they made sure to make you feel small in a Call of Duty lobby.
Some of the biggest shit talks I've ever had were from 10-year-olds in Call of Duty.
Now, when it comes to Overwatch, the hate and toxicity that's in the lobbies there is simply based on the fact that you cannot play the character better than they can. When it's honestly, you honestly probably are playing the character better than they ever could. They're just upset the fact that you're not playing it the way they think you should be playing it.
Well, that's such a great way to put it because it's a different monster. It's a whole different monster with Overwatch. The best way I could describe it for those of you listening who haven't played the game, even though I feel like everybody has at this point, is imagine just this vestibule of people who haven't seen the sun. and and they
keep going. I'm laughing, but keep going.
but it's just this like Dante's Ring of Hell, where these people who have never seen sunlight just have like 10 million hours on these characters, and it's only in competitive, in quick play and stuff, and you're fine. No one cares. We're just having these people are like the biggest try hard, tiny, weenie, grown ass man children. And none of it makes sense. It's anything from you're playing this character wrong, off this character, and it's like 2 seconds into the game. Sam, I had people, and these are grown men. These aren't kids. The kids will actually stay and play. These adults will lose or dare I say die 3 times, and then be like, "This game, everyone's throwing this game. I don't want to be," and leave the game. And I'm like.
I've been on the receiving end of it. Yeah, like there's been times where like Sparks, this pissed me off so much, and I like. So I'm gonna dive into a couple of stories. I'm gonna have you dive into a couple of stories too before we jump into like the game lore. There was one point where we're literally middle comp, and Sparks, we are winning. We are winning. We are crushing them. And there's one dude in there that he keeps getting sniped by the widow that's there, like every single time, and I can hear him raging over my headphones. And he's like, "Why I keep getting killed by the fucking widow? I keep getting killed by her. Y'all do something." Against Sparks, we are winning the match. We are winning. I think we were doing I think this was Blizzard World. We were winning.
Okay. Good map.
And we got to the point where we're about to finish and like get the point so we can start moving the payload. And again, I stress this enough to people that are listening. We were winning. What happens? This person leaves. The game automatically says game will stop. you had a lever. I was so upset because again, we were winning. We were not losing to any degree. The team was united. We had healers and tanks that were doing their job,
Somebody left.
and somebody left, and it all fell apart.
Well, and that'll show you how fast this stuff will collapse. And then Blizzard thinks to itself, like, okay, we're going to try to end toxicity. So they have the option to turn off like team chat. They have the option to like upvote people who do their job, which didn't do anything because people are still mean. And then they added text chat. They added text chat. So then you have to see this. I got like 10 death threats because I didn't res somebody over Messenger. And even if the words are bleeped out, it's like, I'm going to come to your house. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Not those messages.
I think one of the weirdest threats I ever received, I'm not even joking. He said, I'm going to come beat you up because I have a home gym. And I was like, what does that even mean? Oh congratulations, God. You do Pilates. Like, but it was a weird time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah.
I think of all the toxicity I encountered, the one that really would get to me, and maybe you can relate to this one too, Ray, is when, obviously, when you're playing the game, for those who don't know, you have ultimates, and that's like your skill, and then you have different abilities that you can use, and they'll recharge in like, I don't know, 10 seconds, something like that. And gosh, I would just use my skill. You saw me use it. And then homeboy be like, Mercy, why aren't you this? Why aren't you doing that? I'm like, fam, I got to recharge. You got like 3 abilities that you're wasting every 5 seconds. And it's just annoying because it's like, it's yelling for the sake of yelling. So I started playing comp on mute, but you can't even do that because they DM you. You can't escape. You can't escape. But I kept coming back, and I will admit, playing comp with you was always a blast, even because we had some teams, people were shitting on both of us, but we're just having fun.
There was one match that I still have saved to this day. Now, this match is one of the very few matches I uploaded that it's a loss. I've uploaded losses to my channel. I don't just upload victories. I upload losses as well. And the losses that I usually end up posting are the game is just so fun, or the game was just so close, and like the amount of grit and like teamwork we'd had, even though we lost, was so great. I'm like, I don't care that I'm posting a loss. I want people to see this. And this was one of the funniest ones because this was you and I playing, and I believe it was I think the person playing was either Reinhardt or Torbjorn, but their name was POTUS. And like we'd all put our voices on so everyone can hear us talking, and we're literally talking to this character, and we're like, Mr. President. It's like, well, okay, what is your objective for us to do?
Yeah. I remember this.
And like we played 2 games with the guy, and we're like, Mr. President, what do we do? What do we do,
Mr. President? Is Torbjorn.
And every time the guy who was named POTUS, anytime he ever fell, we were like, oh no, we failed at our job. We're a terrible Secret Service.
Dead. Oh yeah.
It was one of the most funniest things because like people's gamer tags were very unique. That's the one thing I do like about gaming online with people, because you meet a lot of people, but you realize how creative some people use their gamer tags. Like there was one guy who put like, he abbreviated obviously, but he wrote "scratch my butt," and I'm like, what? and then there's some of them that are just like are you trying to start a fight? Like, are you trying to get conflict? Because that's the road you're going down with that gamer tag. But to each their own, I guess, Well,
it's like how, quick segue, in the original Call of Duty Black Ops, they thought it'd be a brilliant idea to let you customize your emblem. And even though they gave you shapes to work with, obviously people made the most heinous, racist, murderous, bigot, like the worst gamer tags. Bunch of guys playing games. What do you think's going to happen?
Yep.
But with Overwatch, there were so many silly usernames. But I found it in my experience, the the scary people were just like sequences of numbers. They would just be like 55867XX5, and this person would be like John Wicking everyone as goddamn Tracer of all things, and would
Oh,
I just because they don't care about the username, they just want to come in there and kill everyone over and over and over again. And you're like, how are our tanks losing to Tracer? And this person has their sensitivity set to 8,000. They have eyes like 7 eyes on their fingers while they're playing. I don't know what they're doing, but it's just God mode, and they you can't beat them.
has there ever been a match before we segue into the next part? Has there ever been a match that you played that the match went so terrible that at the end of the match you're like, you know what, I'm done, and you put the controller down, you put your headphone down, turn the system off, and just walked away?
Oh yeah, I'll do you one better. All of that, but include deleting the game. I there
No,
were some.
wait, for
It was
real?
Oh yeah, and then I'd reinstall it later when I got back into Overwatch. But there were times where matches were so heinous, either because somebody on mic was being a nightmare, or I was really just getting frustrated with people leaving, that I said, I'm losing hours on this for nothing. So I would literally just delete the game, make storage for other games, and then like a month or two later, I'd come back to it. But I would go, Ray, I would get pissed at people. I'd be like, I'm not gonna. But see, without being a man child and screaming on the mic, I just literally, I don't have to put up with this. Screw it.
Yep. And like there was one game that I was playing with my buddies, and we'd all, now granted, we'd all been playing for, we this is again, this was during COVID, so we all had um an exuberant amount of time to play wherever we want, because guess what, the next day none of us had to work, some of us were getting paid, and some of us were on like temporary leave, so we pretty much for like a 2 weeks solid did nothing but game with each other. And that honestly was, it was such a bonding moment. And we also talk about that to this day, about that time during COVID where we, like, again, we played for like 2 weeks straight. We all, like, we all got better because we were playing so much. But two, we were
Mhm.
actually able to converse and talk with each other a whole lot more. Like, I made like 5 new friends, even though I didn't actually get to see their faces. I made 5 new friends that I got to game with for almost 2 months, and I felt really close to all of them. Like, I started having legit conversations with all of them, and I felt really close to them because of that. And it also got to a point where I was actually able to talk to people not only in the state that I live in, but other countries as well. I got to talk to people from Canada. I got to talk to people, some of them from the UK and other places as well. Like, it Overwatch has given me that chance to actually to do that. But I segue into this funny story. It was me and my 5 other buddies, because Overwatch used to be 6v6. We were all
Rip.
playing. Now, granted, we've been playing for like at least 5 hours straight, no stopping, just 5 hours straight. We all get into this match. We have crushed our last 3 matches. Like, we've crushed them. Our overconfidence is showing heavily. We get into the match, and this was lookout point, I think it was, and we're all in there, and Sparks, we are getting picked off.
Oh no.
There is a Widow up top, and there's a Bastion on the ground. The Bastion is being shielded by the Reinhardt, and the Widow is picking us off because there's only 3 exits out of the area for lookout point. There's one above, there's one in the middle, and there's one on the side. The Widow was picking us off, or anyone that's trying to go through any other way, and the Bastion is mowing down anyone going through the main entrance.
That sounds like a hate crime.
We didn't even touch the point. Actually, I think we moved it 0.05, and that's the furthest we got it.
Oh my god.
We were not even able to get out of the spawn.
I'm telling you, matches like that, your enemy is either like trained Navy SEALs or people who haven't seen the sun or both.
Probably both. You're absolutely right.
Well,
And
yeah,
like it was after we lost that match, because yeah, we lost. We definitely lost. We were all like, you know
a little
what?
bit.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. We didn't get on for like 3 hours. Nobody got on because we were all upset that we get literally lost that match. Won that easily, that quickly, but that devastatingly. And we eventually all jumped back on that night, but we were all still feeling the effects of that loss because it was a heavy loss.
You got.
To not even
You
get out
got.
of to not even get out of spawn, but like
You know it's bad when the matches would be commencing is usually for payload, and the enemy team, if they run up to your door, like they're looking at you through the glass, usually that was a sign of like, oh, noob players that are immediately going to die as soon as the door opens. But when it's the opposite and that door opens and you can't even leave spawn, yeah.
now granted, I've been on the receiving, like to quote Joel, I've been on both sides. I've been the
No,
person that
not
spawn
Joel.
traps people. I've been spawn trapped before. I know what it's like. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I don't like I don't like the way I say this. Some people, like, unfortunately, they don't know how to play the game, and when you unfortunately spawn trap people, I'm not gonna stop myself just because you're getting trapped in there. Like,
Yeah.
if you keep coming out the exact same way and you keep getting picked up on one of the players, and you keep doing that, when that person has 15 kills on you because you keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, I don't have that much sympathy for you. It's hard for me to
Fair.
have sympathy for you when you keep coming out the exact same way.
And you're not changing your strategy at all. It's like as Mercy, right? And any healer main knows this. We're usually the squishy characters that barely have any health, get our asses handed to us all the time. As Mercy, I mean, getting targeted by the Widow, the Tracer, Reinhardt crushing me into a wall for the 85th time, and just running for my life. A Junkrat tired 9 times out of 10 coming for me. It's just death.
That Reinhardt charge sometimes where it's like he's gonna miss me, and he managed to just clip me. I'm like, how did this happen? How was he able to clip me? I wasn't. And then even when he charges someone else, and like someone else in front of you, you realize like, okay, he's gonna hit them, and that person just at the last seconds like boop, and the next he ends up charging you into the wall. I'm like, wow, like is and then sometimes when they literally they single you out and they charge you off the game map, and it's like, he sacrificed himself to take you out. You know what? Bet you're the threat. I feel honored.
I am honored that I was a priority to kill. And then at the same time, you almost want to scream in a mic and go, "Where's my team? Is nobody helping me? I'm 5 foot and made of paper."
So
But yeah,
to segue into our next one, we're gonna dive into a bit of the game lore, and we're gonna take a look at some of the characters from the game, and let's start with Soldier 76. So what's your knowledge on Soldier 76?
okay, so Soldier said, I'm going to be so blunt. He appealed to every single edge lord on the planet. Either him and Reaper. It was because I mean, this man was the most stereotypical. Like, I'm not the guy anymore. I don't do that shit anymore. I saw some bad things, and I don't become that man. But he totally becomes that man. He totally that stuff all the time, and he totally is that person. And we love it. We love to see it. The best way I heard him described is he's like a Call of Duty character because he runs and operates the same way. Very simple sprint, auto lock aim. He's got the freaking noob tube grenade launcher. And so that was his gameplay. and he was fine to play against, easy to beat. But if he was played by someone who hasn't seen the sun, I'm going to say that a lot here. There was no point. That man never missed. His accuracy is like 99.99, and when he blinks. But story wise, he had a really good cutscene. I keep calling them cutscenes, man. Cinematic that showed him like getting rid of crime off the streets, and anyway, he's Batman. He's patriotic Batman,
These
and
aren't
that's what I
your
gotta say about
streets
Soldier.
anymore.
Yeah, when he smashes that guy's face in.
Soldier 76 was actually the first character I learned how to play because he's given to you for the training which they give you
That's
before you
right.
even enter in the game. So I immediately gravitated towards him, and I slowly started transitioning other characters, but he was the very first one I started with because again, I'm transitioning from Call of Duty into Overwatch. So I'm playing what, like as you said, is familiar for a lot of people. So it became like my bread and butter for like the longest time until I started, bouncing around playing tanks and then eventually playing healer. But he was eventually where a lot of people started in the games. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I got to say about Soldier.
So from what I understand, Soldier's real name is not Soldier 76. It's Jack Morrison. He was
Yes.
given the title of commander or a strike commander, I think, over Overwatch when they eventually formed the first time. And with him, Anna, Reyes, I can't remember his full name, but they essentially assembled the strike team of Overwatch to battle the crap. What are the robots called?
The Omnics.
The Omnics. Thank you. And with the Omnics crisis getting as bad as it was, they were all called to fight against them in the Great War, and but with Jack and Reyes, they were sent through the Super Soldier program, to which they were given superhuman reflexes, speed, strength, all that good stuff. And it's even more apparent now because the serum that they gave Jack, even though he's getting into his, I believe his 50s in the
Yeah,
time of
he's old.
Overwatch, he's still as strong, as fast, and as durable as he was when he was a guy. And he actually says to Anna in a voice line, she's like, "Jack, you still look good." He's like, "Is that the super serum is still keeping me strong and young? So whatever it is, it's kept them well this entire time." And Reyes is get the same thing, and they use that. They're essentially super soldiers for the first part of the war, but Reyes ends up getting another serum from Moira that essentially turns him into, God, I want to say like a shroud almost.
Demon.
And and so what I think is he's technically reviving and dying at the same time because his body's able to dissipate and reappear consistently. And
He's
I never,
basically working in retail.
yeah, pretty much. And like, there's one thing the question has never been answered is like, how is he producing those guns?
He's just littering and leaving them all on the floor.
And I never had that lore explained to me. Like, is he just constantly shooting and this is just their animation of him reloading, or is he actually just tossing the guns and just, like, this never got explained to me. But what happens is Jack and Reyes get into this fight, and then ultimately there's this attack on the Overwatch head base, and
Yeah.
Jack's face gets disfigured, and this is why he wears the tactical glass over his face, because his eyes are heavily damaged from it. And now his goal is to take down Talon and essentially avenge all the people that died during the Overwatch attack. And this also translates into to Reyes, codenamed Reaper. He's now hunting Overwatch agents. He's essentially the Darth Vader of their universe. He is a
Oh,
former
good point.
Overwatch agent taking out the Overwatch agents that are in hiding and essentially, yeah, assassinating them. That's what he's an Overwatch hunter. That's basically what he is.
He's an inquisitor before inquisitors.
Honestly, yeah, that's honestly the best way I can put it.
You know, Reyes is yet another edge lord. It's kind of like pick your level of edge. Do you want the more like justice for Gotham kind of side of things? Or are you feeling more of the like, no one understands me because I'm evil and dark and I can never go back to being good? Was I ever good? I don't know. Screw you. But good times. I've died to his ultimate many a time.
Man,
I'm gonna
that
like
ultimate,
every time you meant, yeah.
that ultimate was something, especially when the fact that he could, and I say this very loosely, he could air assassinate you very very easy because all he had to do was go behind his team, shadow step above the enemy team and just drop down and just pop his ult. Like I've gotten teams like that before multiple times, just taking out like a good 4 or 5 of them because they don't realize I just dropped down on them. Like that's how it's supposed to be used. And like it's a devastating finisher. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Uh, Especially for the squishies. We had no chance at all getting away from him. And the same is true for other characters you might want to mention. McCree slash Cassidy, whatever name you want to give him. Easy kill on Mercy. Easy kill. You could get behind an entire team, and I think I've done it in some of our matches. You just dead eye the entire team.
Have you ever been able? Have you ever gotten a team wipe before?
I have team wipe. Just no one paying attention. That was my only attempt. Was no one paying attention.
So the only team wipe I got, funny enough, was with Reaper, but I was only able to get it when playing Overwatch 2 when they dropped from 6v6 to 5v5. And I didn't even realize I got the team wipe because I saw the screen and said I got 5 kills. I'm like, dang it, I missed one. It said team kill. I'm like, oh, we're doing 5v5. That's right. Okay, got it. But my only team wipe I've ever gotten has been with Reaper. The only one I got close to in original Overwatch 1 was with our favorite girly, Diva. I ended up dropping a self destruct and I threw it into the air. Everyone was scattering like roaches when the lights came on, and then it just popped everyone out in the corner. I'm like, I missed one, but still, it was cool. It was real cool.
Yeah, no, the diva bombs were nuts. And if the other team trapped you with something, there was no getting out of it.
Oh, for sure. And there were so many, like, there were not a lot of ways to dodge. I think there's maybe a handful of characters that had a way. And I'm not even just talking about the tanks because tanks always had shields. But there's some ways you had to essentially get creative when it came to like avoiding diva ults. Like Reaper, obviously you can go into like the shroud mode. I have to forget what it's called. But Symmetra used to have a shield that she could put in front of you.
Used to be devastating.
And I think it had like 500 health to the shield, but that was enough to shield you if you were behind it to block a diva bomb, because that's eventually what I used. And then who else? There was someone else. Who else was it? Winston had his shield. Obviously, I'm trying to avoid the tanks at this point. I'm trying. Moira had her shadow steps. Like if you used it at the right second, you could go in there, essentially become intangible, and then it would blow, and then you come back in. And like, let's see, who else is there? You could also avoid it with Tracer if you zip back. If you zip back in time, let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Like there wasn't no ways to avoid it.
Oh, and just because you bring up Tracer, that's actually a good segue into that character and how she basically just became the whole mascot for the franchise.
Time is on my side.
Yeah, she was quick, she was witty, she was British. And look, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. The spandex tight orange booty leggings were like the easiest way to get everyone to play that game. It was really funny because all these guys were simping over. Actually, she's a lesbian, and it threw like a wrench into so many folks. But I mean, she was so All right, I'm going to make a comparison to another game. Can I go for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Marvel Rivals is currently like the new Overwatch. It is literally Overwatch just with Marvel characters. They don't change much. And people call that game, they call it a gooner game a lot because a lot of the specifically ladies in that game are very much designed to just lose your bonkers over. Like it's the dummy thicks, the revealing outfits, the whole shabam, the poses that very much like emphasize the bodies. And that started with Overwatch. Even before that, like people are like, oh, the Marvel Rivals. No, 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 no. This has been going on. They want you simping for these characters because they know it's going to keep you playing. And Tracer was so like out there that they had to edit one of her victory poses because there was too much booty going on.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, yeah. They had to change it a little bit because people were
Oh, I
complaining.
think I know the one you're talking about. Oh, I think I know what talk. Oh, yeah, I do. I think I know the one you're
Yep.
talking about.
Widowmaker need more be said, but that poor girl has scoliosis with the way that back is bent, and it's just ass. It's just ass.
There, there,
And
there's one play of the game clip for Widowmaker where like she hits you and like she puts her foot on top of you, but like if you're using her one of her skins, it's like they got dangerously close to like with that skin. Like
yeah.
I'm like, okay, y'all need to make sure like when y'all are making these skins and you realize like the victory like clip that you show of them, just be mindful of how they are dressed and everything. Like just putting that out there.
Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing. And you see that a lot in those characters. And then you had, I'm trying to think who else, Diva. Except the big thing with the people on the internet with the Diva simping that you're like, y'all, she's like 16, maybe 18. I don't know, but I know she's young, dangerous, jailbait. Stop.
I I think
Right? Good question.
if I'm thinking about it correctly, when they introduced her to the game, I believe they said she was 16. I believe they said she was 16.
Oh, need more be said. And if we're talking spandex in general, I mean, I don't care that he's a cyborg ninja and he's got all that armor. Genji had his booty cheeks out for like okay. He's just running around. That was another ult to be scared of. But if you want to feel some emotion with the Shimada brothers, the cinematic that introduced both of them,
Oh
beautiful,
man.
beautiful.
Let's transition into those two because so there's a buddy of mine at work that I live with him for we were roommates for quite a bit, but even now when we converse and talk with each other or we yell each other's name out, like so I yell to him, I call him Genji, he calls me Hanzo because for a while that's what me and him played
Oh,
together
I
on
like it.
Overwatch. And even now to this day, even though we don't play as much as we used to, I still yell it out to him. And the when I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, this is something beautiful. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's a story of redemption. It's a story of two brothers on literally on opposite side. Like it's one of the age old stories, but you realize in the story as the cinematic is playing, as Hanzo is essentially he's fighting for his life.
Yeah, because he doesn't know that's his brother.
You can hear the hurt in his voice over what happened with Genji. Even though he's fighting for his life, you realize there's so much hurt in his voice. Even though it doesn't sound like it at times, you realize he's devastated what happened to him because because at that point when he after it happened, he realized like I have no one left. My father's gone. I literally just took out my brother, or almost like he didn't know that his brother wasn't he didn't know if his brother was alive now. And to him he assumed his brother was dead. He's like, I'm alone now. And all I had was my brother because my father, ran the company and everything like that. the Shimada Empire. But ultimately, me and him had each other. And despite his goofy nature, or like his very, like, lax nature, he's all I had. And even as they're telling the story about the two dragons, you can feel Hanzo's hurt. Even when the point where Genji reveals himself, he realizes how hurt he is. Not only because this whole time he believed Genji to be dead, but Genji is at a point where he's basically almost not human. He's still human, but he's basically almost not human.
He's more machine now than man.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the one thing I liked about that trailer for those two, is that you realize Hanzo's still struggling with that mistake of what happened between the two of them. And I'm hoping that they, in Overwatch 2, they come to some sort of like peace between the two of them, and he either helps Overwatch or something, and they come together as brothers, because the two of them together is a force to be reckoned with. I've lost a couple of games of the one is Hanzo, one's Genji, and they took out a good portion of our team because they're a force to be reckoned with. Especially when they gave Hanzo, he had his storm arrows still left. Not no wait, is it his scatter arrows, because that was a devastating effect in close quarters.
Fam, you knew you were in for it. We're gonna bring up that term again. Seeing players who hadn't seen the sun when a Hanzo is just like one shotting everyone on your, because when you're using the Hanzo arrows, it's like you have to balance it because they have a drop level to them. They don't just go straight. And God, I've seen it where these Hanzos be taking people out like Hawkeye, and you're like, I please go outside, touch grass. And
There's been a couple
yeah,
of times where I saw them like there be we have our Farah or our Mercy in the air, or we have like a junk rat popping up in the air, and he's just like pop, 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 pop. I'm like,
I'm like,
dude.
how?
And they're
It's
headshots. They're not body shots. They're headshots, which is even more shocking. It's like, how?
so this is rare, but you ever see it where two Hanzos kill each other?
I've rarely ever seen that. Actually,
But it can happen. If they time those arrows, they can die at the same time.
that is very true. And I also didn't know this. My buddy actually pointed this out to me. We did it during a training. We were doing the training because he wanted to show me something. You can deflect Hanzo's arrow with Genji's sword like he did in the cinematic. You have to be
Oh,
extremely
that's cool.
close, obviously, but you can deflect his ultimate and then reflect it back.
Gosh, you got to time that really well.
Oh yeah, like you literally have to be standing in front of him, and you have to hear him do the emo, and then start deflecting immediately. But he can deflect it, which I thought was BS, but I was proven wrong, and
And it's
yeah.
cool stuff. It's another thing I'll say about those two is how incredibly popular they were with the community of Overwatch. People loved the Shimada brothers, whether it was in fan art, cosplay, stories, fanfic. Heck, I wrote a Hanzo fanfic. Me of all people. I was bored one morning. I had fun. It's called Hanzo's Redemption. You might still find it somewhere online. I haven't seen it in years, but the point is that I'll show you. I'll tell you right now how popular these characters. In the Overwatch 2 trailer, a bunch of characters had shown up, and that was fine. And this is both from the live reaction when they first revealed the trailer to whenever. And of all the characters to show up, people didn't start losing their freaking minds until Genji shows.
Yes, that was the point. I think it was Blizzard had showed the trailer to
Yeah,
everyone, and it was like it was pretty like the reaction was pretty stagnant. But once Winston got like that stare down, and people were like, "No, like don't kill off, like don't kill off Winston." And then as soon as you see no, you hear Genji's footsteps running, the place erupts, like it erupts.
this is one of those memories I have where we were watching it in the break room at the time, and I hold the phone up to you and I was like, "Watch this with me." You're like, "Yeah." Halloween Horror Nights, and we're watching, and when he showed up, you were like, "Oh,
It's over now. It's over now.
yeah!"
Genji's
It was.
back.
They had a whole endgame moment, and then the crowd got so excited from Genji to Reinhardt and Brigitte to Mercy dropping in from above. Oh, Echo, freaking Echo shows up, and I think that's just another example because we're leading into the down game as a whole, but right then and there, that showed you they didn't need IPs. They didn't need lore beyond what they had already made. They didn't need to do collabs. Those characters were so popular, Ray.
Mm-hmm. And the thing was like, was there a point? And you can probably correct me on this because you
What do
met
you
you
got?
met some of them. Was there a point where they like brought all of the voice actors to like a con? Like they brought the entire cast to a con
Oh yeah.
because that is something like I was never sure of if they brought everybody together because the entire voice team could literally take over like MegaCon or something like that, and people would show up. They
Well, that will show
honestly
you
could.
the height of their power. I mean, fam, that was everybody has their golden age. That was it. Everybody was getting into Overwatch. Everyone was playing. All the voice actors were going to like every convention. You had a whole list of them. So obviously, all the people who made these characters.
Because
And I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I'll die on the hill. Mercy's voice actor gave me COVID.
I remember you told me that story. Actually,
Man,
you told me what was it? A week after you met her,
yeah,
and I was because I hadn't heard from you in a while. I'm like, dude, like I hope he's all right. Like I haven't heard from him, and then you were like, yeah, I had COVID. I'm like you got it too, and you're like, yeah. I'm like
yeah.
like the voice actor gave me COVID. I'm like, I was like, shut up, like no way, no way.
It's my scientific theory anyway. Because let me tell you, I went to her comedy show that night, and I won the little contest, whatever the question was. It was about Florida of all things. And she hugs me, she gives me her paper, whatever. And then the next day I said, I want to go see her at her table, say thank you so much for that autograph and whatever. And I go over, she's not there, she doesn't show. And then she posts on Instagram and she's like, hey guys, I got COVID. If you interacted with me in the last 2 days, like please like get yourselves checked. I waited a couple days and my symptoms showed, and I was like, I guess heroes might die.
Oh my god! I wanted to laugh when you told me that because that's just so much bitter irony. But I'm like, I'm not gonna do that because because I've had COVID and like it's no laughing joke because like you feel like
Oh,
crap
it
afterwards.
sucks.
But it's still funny that it's still funny that the person that like you wanted to see and that you were waiting and
It
like
gives me
wanted to
COVID.
see and like they're the reason that you're coughing your lungs out right now.
No, it's true. And so, COVID aside, those it was a big moment. It was a moment. Everybody got excited for Overwatch 2. We were pretty much all guaranteed to get it. And when they announced that it was just going to be like an extension of Overwatch 1, I thought that was good. But shall I go into the initial reactions to Overwatch 2?
Not just yet. We have
What you got?
there are two more character, actually three more characters I want to get through. Um, and one of them who probably had the most emotional, actually one of the most emotional cinematics of all the cinematics that came out, and that was Reinhardt.
Oh,
Now,
honor.
Reinhardt to me is that old veteran, and everybody knows that old veteran that survived like Vietnam, Korea, World War II, and like he goes to see his buddies every Veterans Day or like anytime he's in the area, like he goes to see them and like he remembers them as if they were standing right beside him, and he's not torn by his decision that they're gone, but he just misses them so much, and he honors their sacrifice. Like there's nobody that can tell you different. Like despite how that you felt about the war and whatever, like to them, these guys are the heroes. Like I came back from the war, but these guys are heroes, and I sense that heavily with Reinhardt the most.
I agree with you. And I think that short shows you two sides of him. You know, there's the arrogant heart, and then there's the, you know, regretful, I'm going to be a better teammate person. And to add to that, beyond the cinematic, I have played with both of those Reinhardts. I have played with Reinhardts that think they're DPS and they don't help the entire team at all. I've played with Reinhardts that are the god tier. Like they are there for everybody. They're helping out. They're actually making shield walls and rushing when they can. But yeah, I think that cinematic covers both of them.
And like the when I see people react to to the Reinhardt short, when they know that the friend is about to like he's about to do make the ultimate sacrifice and everything, it brings a lot of people to tears, especially like the girl dads, the girl dads and the girl and the
Oh,
girls and the girls who were very close with their dads when they're growing up. And like I like whenever I see them and I see them like weeping emotionally, I'm like, she was a girl dad. She was definitely a girl dad. Like her and her father are extremely close. Like, and like every time I see it, and it's like I immediately know. And like Reinhardt short was probably the one only one out of the shorts before we jumped into Overwatch 2 that probably has that actually got me the most emotional because you know you see Reinhardt the way he is before, like you see him playing the game, you see like this honorable noble character that's willing to sacrifice everything, and it's hard to see him in that light when he's young and arrogant and has such disregard for seem like it's like, is this the same Reinhardt? And afterwards, when you see what he's gone through, you understand why he's the way he is because my actions cost the life of my friend. And the best way I can make this up to him is to one, be a better teammate, but to also give every single mission like it's going to be my last one.
yeah. Honor and glory, or death and honor, one or the other.
Honor and glory.
That's it. Honor and glory. And he had some of the funniest voice lines in that game too, because the voice actor was actually this older fella, super nice. A lot of those voice actors struck me as very kind people.
His shortest voice line is probably one of my favorites. Beer.
People used to spam that all the friggin' beer, beer. Because that was the funny thing is they changed this in later games. You had no timeline or like time limit on voice lines. Excuse me, until later they added that because you could be beer, beer, beer for the whole freaking match. I wanted to kill this man. We had a Winston on our team, just to show you another example. And one of his voice lines was just like a laugh, like it was like, and he just did that the whole match. I wanted to throw my controller. Oh my gosh.
Wait, in that match we're playing as Moira and Mercy, there's a guy in this with us also, and he's playing Junkrat, and he's going.
Oh, I hated that, man. Yeah. And sometimes if you were really good at it, you could finesse the voice lines so they made new sentences. Like for Mercy, there was one that was, "Would you like the sponge or the spray?" And there's another one that was "piece of cake." And I used to mix it. So she'd go, "Would you like the piece of cake?" And it was fun. Just fun times. Reinhardt, great character. What's the last one you got for me?
um, so probably one of the saddest cinematics
Oh no.
of the set that we have, that would be the everyone's favorite love hate character, May.
Ah,
Now, May as a character, I love her so much because she is probably one of the most genuinely nicest. Like, if you met her in life, you probably give her a hug and she probably smelled like cinnamon.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Playing against her, oh my god, she's a she devil.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball at you and say playing with her could also be terrible because sometimes, I don't know if you ever found yourself on the receiving end of the nightmare I'm about to describe, but you would have a May on your own team put an ice wall in your spawn so nobody could leave.
Yep.
And one, if you do this, I hope you step on a Lego. But but also they would time it really well. If you did it at the beginning of the match, it was, but some of these May trolls would wait until like it was like a tense moment, and everybody's running back to the point to try to stay on it and everything, and then Ray they would put the damn wall right on the spawn, and everyone's like clawing, you're ready to bite your TV because you can't get through. And then just to say, it wasn't just May, there were trolls everywhere. Symmetra, same thing. She put a teleporter up, you jump through it, think you're gonna ambush the team, she sends you off a damn cliff. Like, I hate everybody.
There was a point, and like to say it because I actually play May. I gave her the gold. I gave her the goldie weapon, for May. When I give her, whenever I get the chance to play her, because it's hard to play DPS now. Um, when I get to play her and I find the spawn, I'm that guy that when the game starts, I put that ice wall up and I run back and I say, okay, they're coming. Just to give everyone a couple of seconds, just to like, but I'm the one that's standing in the spawn, waving like "hi," and then as soon as the game starts, ice wall. I'm
Oh,
that guy.
well, at least if you're doing it to the other team, it's fine. And again, I mean, it was good. It was the best of times. It was the craziest of times. And it's so hard to describe the early years of Overwatch with these characters because it's like you really did just have to be there. You had to be there. Um, it's like Vine. It's no different than some of those things that you can only describe it so much. And you just want to tell folks like you just had to see it. You had to see it for yourself. And um, with May, I understood like even with her cinematic, which is depressing as hell, they because like what her whole team's dead or something.
Yeah. So I think what happened was, if I'm just going to briefly explain the cinematic. So they are essentially weather. They monitor climate change throughout the globe. That was a branch off of the Overwatch. Uh, God, I want to say Overwatch. Society, I guess. I want to say that, but so they were to do climate change, and they were essentially they were meant to go into sleep. They were going to crisis. I think it was supposed to be for about a year. I think just to monitor the because they were to wake up in a year and monitor how life was after a year's worth of data. But what happened was, I think the system got, it must have been like a blizzard or something, and it froze the technology and they didn't wake up like they were supposed to. But May's pod ended up staying powered the entire time, because I think what happened was Snowball kept her chamber.
Aw, Snowball.
Yeah, Snowball, the MVP, he kept her chamber I think powered up. So when she woke up as the backup power was slowly shutting down. And once she woke up, she went to go wake everyone else up, and what happened was they all died in essentially in their sleep, because they essentially all froze to death. And
For kids.
yeah. For this is a kids game, people. It's a kid game, and we never see the faces of her comrades. I think there's a photo in the short, but she ends up burying all of them, and she's crushed because these were like people she's known for years. Like she's a scientist essentially, because in all intents and purposes, May is, when we see the short, May is I believe 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
After when she wakes up, she's technically close to 50 by living standards. She's technically 50 something years old. Because
That's
because the
terrifying. I didn't know that.
because the time between when Overwatch was shut down to when we get the original trailer for the game is about 20 years or close to that. So she's close to either close to 50 or in her 50s when she eventually woken up.
I learned something new today because I never really thought about May's age ever.
And what was it? Moira actually points it out because she wants to study May because May hasn't aged a day while she was in cryostasis. She didn't age. Her body didn't decay. I think she was perfectly preserved. And May's like, no. And to like, I completely understand it. Like the only way you can experiment me like this is if I go back in there. And last time I went back in there, the closest people I had, like friends and family, they died. So I'm already scarred from memory. So whatever research you want to realize, do it on your own time.
It really puts into perspective again just how much they put into this damn story that didn't even cover the main story yet.
You know, but the segue into it, because I know you're eager to talk about it. Let's jump into Overwatch 2.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I was super excited because I thought it was going to be like just a continue. I love Overwatch so much. Why would it suddenly magically turn bad? And it just didn't hit at all with that. So they get rid of the 6v6, they switch it to 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's only one tank now, and that made things a lot more challenging. And some people liked it. It was to be balanced because I mean, it would suck if people had double shields. I get it, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It they
And
started. Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
I, so after watching the Overwatch 2 trailer and the excitement behind that, because and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, folks. I wept. I wept when I saw the
Okay.
Overwatch 2 trailer. The cinematic specifically, I wept. If I watch the trailer again now, I still get tears to my eyes because the emotion I felt watching the trailer, especially the scene where Winston's about to give his life and then Genji shows up and then they all just like showing up out of nowhere. Like I even now still feel a little bit of tears because it is such a great trailer, but it was a culmination of waiting and realizing that your patience and your waiting has paid off because now you're getting something that you've waited so long for. Even though at
Mm-hmm.
the time you don't realize it's going to be another 2 years before that gets dropped, but you realize like your patience has paid off, and that that all the waiting that you had done and everything in between, you pretty much have done all of that, and now you're seeing the fruits of your labor. And that's everything I felt, all of that wrapped into one, right, all that wrapped into one, because I felt when I watched the trailer that they heard the fans and they knew like we have to give them something great that they're going to remember. And even now, still to this day, I go back and watch it. Even though I still have some gripes with the game, I still go back and watch that trailer, and I remember the excitement and the feeling I had when I watched it.
Well, that trailer is great, and it's basically its own Overwatch endgame. Is the best way to describe that trailer.
Yeah,
I just I think we just had very different expectations going into it, and then we're thrown off by said expectations. So, for example, other things that I think startled a lot of people, gaming as a whole was really doubling down on microtransactions and season passes and battle passes and paywalls, paywall,
Oh
because they
yeah.
realized the easy formula. Honestly, you don't even have to look at console games. Apps were doing this for years already, in which, oh, we can give you this cheap and or free game, but you have to buy the cool shit if you want it with real money. And it was a hit because, of course, people were like, they win you over with, oh, it's free, and you're not thinking about how much money you're spending. Overwatch did it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 did it. Just the encouragement to buy whatever they want the currency to be.
Apex
Bitcoin,
Legend did it.
the shards, crystals, gems, whatever it was. It was just, we want your money. I hated what battle passes turned things into because they hid not just one, but multiple pieces of content behind a paywall. And you had to, they changed it now, I believe. You would know, you're saying, but at first you had to like unlock certain characters and people that should have just been available from the base game.
Mm-hmm. And
So
and there
it
was a
was all
point
over
when
the place.
I was playing to, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool character. I would like to try them out because like I played a game and I got literally crushed by them, and like like I want to try them out, and it's like you can't play this character. I'm like, why? It's like you have to buy them. Like you have to go through the battle pass and get them. Like so, you're telling me I have to pay $10 to play this character? That's basically what you're telling me.
For a game you already own. For a game you already own.
Yep. And like the more I
It's
saw it, and then when they implemented the battle pass, I was like, okay, y'all are becoming way too much like Battlefront. Y'all starting to dive into Apex Legend territory. Because
yeah, they did the same thing.
I was used to Apex Legend because they had established the battle pass really early in their game, like I think in like season 3 or 4. So I knew there were gonna be microtransactions with Apex Legends going forward, and it didn't bother me because I had already expected it. They started early in the game, but at the point when they started doing microtransactions with Overwatch, the game was, I think, maybe 7 years old at this point. And I'm like, there were
Yeah. They
microtransactions
jumped
in
on
the
the
game, but it
bandwagon.
was only for loot boxes and possibly for skins. And that's only if you really wanted them. But if you really wanted those skins, you played the hours and hours and hours to get that skin or get the coins for it.
And now you're
So,
just seeing everybody do the exact same formula because the following isn't even just an Overwatch thing. This is happening everywhere, man. Marvel Rivals, money. Overwatch, money. Fortnite, they need money. It's not base game anymore. Now that's how much you get out of you from this. Ubisoft, Ubisoft is notorious for this, and it's not even stuff to help with the game, cosmetics and skins, maybe some DLC here and there, but it's just the newer gamer formula where they're telling you like, okay, what if instead of you buying a full sandwich, you pay the price of a sandwich? I'll give you the bread and a slice of ham, and if you want more, you'll have to pay me for more. But that's not what you signed up for. Ah,
honestly,
and
that's the best way I've ever actually had ever heard it. That's actually a
yeah, that's
great way to put
basically
it.
what it is. They're asking you to pay more for less content
Like
every single time.
and like I'll even throw in this scenario. It's like going to the DMV, not the DMV, a car dealership. You paying for the car, but and then you realize like there's no engine in the car. Like, oh, the engine's extra, and then we get the engine. It's like, okay, now you got to pay for gas. Okay, now
Yeah,
you have to
and
pay
they
for
do it
insurance.
so
And
shamelessly.
it's like I'm paying for all of this for a car that I had already paid for. Like, why are you just giving me pieces of a car?
Yeah, look at nostalgia farming too in the gaming industry, especially. There has never been a point where there have been so many remakes and of games you already played. And yes, they fix the quality content sometimes. Sometimes they just up the brightness a little bit and call it an HD remaster. But why? Because we want to play the old games. Nobody wants to play this new stuff anymore if they're going to have to keep paying for it. So people are like, oh, well, I remember I used to play, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot. I'll play the remaster. And it's just, I will be curious to see where this formula goes in a couple more years because, okay, one more example that I think shows you how all this has gone full circle. When Overwatch came out, again, people thought Fortnite was copying Overwatch because Fortnite had certain skins in it that you were like, huh, that kind of looks like Reaper, whatever. And then years later, now look at how things have flipped. Now Overwatch is copying Fortnite with Battle Pass, with skins, with collabs. Like they did a My Hero Academia. Overwatch used to stand on its own. They didn't even need collabs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they saw where the money was. The money, everybody wants that shit. And the last point I'll say with this is that now the epitome, I almost had a stroke when I thought I was having a stroke when I saw this, is that Fortnite has Overwatch in it. Like the whole season that Fortnite is doing right now is Overwatch. Whether that's Overwatch weapons, Overwatch skins, you could be Mercy, you could be Diva, you could be Tracer. And you sit here and you're like, I'm having an aneurysm. You're telling me that like we've gone full circle now to the point where Fortnite Overwatch is better than Overwatch? What is happening?
And you know,
So yeah.
when they introduced after I wiped my tears from my eyes after watching the cinematic, they went into the gameplay of what Overwatch 2 is going to be. And when I walked away after watching all that, not only the new gameplay but the cinematic, I'm like, this is going to be something that's probably going to get me fired from work because I'm going to be playing this game so hard that I'm going to forget I actually have a job. And not only do I still have my job, my desire to play the game has dwindled greatly. Not only because everything they put in the game, the gameplay they had for Overwatch 2, did we not get any of it? But they try to produce a portion of it, and the only way to play those games is through microtransactions. So the story that you were already planning on giving us already, that you introduced into the trailer with the game, with the cinematic, that we're going to have different types of ultimates, we're going to be have characters team up with each other, and all this and all that. We're going to further storylines with character with Genji and with Zenyatta and Reaper and Widowmaker and Reinhardt, May, and everyone all fighting against the Omnics and all that stuff. Like these were trailers that they introduced and said we're going to be doing this for Overwatch 2.
Mm-hmm.
But when they dropped the game for everyone to play, it was still basic battle royale, and everyone was screaming just like I was, "Where is the story mode?" Because that
That
was the
was
one that was the one thing that people were yelling about consistently about Overwatch 1. Where is the story mode? And when they introduced it, it was like, you know what? Our patience has paid off. They're giving it to us, and I felt lied to when I eventually got into the game.
And I think you and a lot of other people did. You also have to remember that Blizzard had one hell of a controversy that they were trying to recover from because I want to say it was like this was 2021 because the pandemic was already like over at this point, 2022 early that time. There was a lawsuit about like there was sexual harassment allegations, unequal pay,
Yes,
discrimination
yes.
against like specific like women in the workplace, and it was bad, like bad that people were boycotting the game as a whole because of that. And so now think about it this way: Overwatch 2 is already taking flight. Now they find out that the development team is a nightmare in itself because it was a whole thing. It was like California Department or something versus Activision, and it got ugly. That's why they renamed McCree Cassidy, because the guy he was named after was involved in all this.
Yeah, but it's like even now, even after they named him, like it's still hard for me to adjust to calling him Cassidy. Like, but if I'm playing with my longtime friends, like I call him McCree because it's too difficult for me to just because again I've been playing this game. I played the game for almost 5-6 years. It's hard for me to switch it up. Now, if I'm playing with people online, I say Cassidy, obviously. But if I'm playing with my buddies, I usually honestly say McCree because even though the person was I'm trying to choose my words carefully how I say this.
No, you're
Even
fine.
though the person was a piece of crap, I don't blame the character for that. I blame the person. I don't blame the character for that. I blame the person.
Right. There's a
And
difference.
it's like Jesse McCree didn't jump out of the game and do all the things this guy did. Like, no, the guy who did it did it. So, um, but like, yeah, it's just a lot of things that happen with the game, and then once the allegations came out and everything, there was a point where I genuinely stopped playing because I was so hurt by it because at the time, and I was slowly transitioning to Apex Legends afterwards, I was genuinely hurt. Like even my friends we all, bonded over this game during COVID, realizing that what's happening there is like wait, what do we do now? And a lot of us transitioned from Overwatch to Apex because of that, because we just couldn't deal with it. Now eventually I made my way back, but it was still hard to play the game knowing what I knew.
Well, and remember this too. This is only what we saw. And now the following is just my personal opinion. It's not necessarily fact. Take of it what you will. It is my belief that there are a lot more developers and companies and corporations that have very similar practices, if not worse, and we just never hear about it. It either doesn't leak to the public or it's like all thrown under the rug. But I guarantee you, there are other game developing studios out there. It's one of those things where it's like, you're not innocent, you just haven't been caught yet.
Yeah,
And with Blizzard, it's like they had been sweeping that under the rug for a while until enough people came forward. I do agree with you about the McCree Cassidy situation, because here's where I'm coming from, and I might get some flack for this. It's just it's performative. To me, that doesn't do anything. It's trying to stop the bleeding, so you just change everything from the outside. But it's like, okay, I'll put it this way: we don't know, but I pose this question to you, right? If you have claims of like sexual harassment and you have problems in the workplace, if you just change a character's name and you don't fix the workplace, it was performative nonsense.
I agree.
Because the real problem is there. You see this with so many different things. I don't want to get too much into other topics, but I'll just give another example. It's like, look at like social justice, right? You have instances where whether it's about police brutality, no matter what it's about, and then you say, okay, what do you want us to do about this? I want you to fix the systems, whatever involved. And then they're like, okay, so instead we changed the mascot, we painted a mural, stuff like that. And you sit here and you're like, that's not fixing the problem.
It's not.
That's just it's performative that you could post on social media for likes and say, look, we fixed everything. And it's the same thing with these game companies. That's what I'm going to wrap it back to, is just performative action means nothing if you're not fixing the thing that everybody called out in the first place.
Correct.
Nobody asked you to change Jesse McCree's name. We asked you to get rid of the people responsible. So I know that was a little bit of a soapbox rant. I'm going to scale it back, but
No, I do I
yeah.
do completely agree about that, and it's like it'd be the same thing as if like, and like this. I'm not spreading this as a rumor. This is everything I'm about to say over the next 2 to 3 minutes is untrue. It is not factual. It is not true. This is me making an example. I hate that I have to say that, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it anyway. This is like if the guy who plays Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, if he got
Mhm.
into some trouble with the government or whatever, and they were like, okay, well, instead of like separating him from future projects and everything like that, we're gonna change Luke Skywalker's name to such and such.
Exactly.
What does that solve?
Nothing.
It literally solves nothing. And now you're gonna have to go back through thousands and thousands of hours of video and audio and everything like that, and like have it get re-recorded by the guy who you're trying to avoid. Because guess what, the guy who voices McCree had to go back and do all these voice lines over again that had the name McCree in them and redo them over again. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
if are you trying to stop the bleeding, or are you trying to treat the wound? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and especially with these big companies, let alone Blizzard. Um, yeah, I'm just doing a quick time check. I got about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the just it's performative. It's a lot of performative because it's a PR disaster at that point when everybody's talking. That's the thing. It's like they're trying to release this new game. They're under a lot of fire from people. They had to do performative stuff like that in order for people to stop talking about it. Obviously, we all kept talking about it because it never works. It never works. Changing your logo didn't do anything. I mean, look at it's just this month is a great example, right? And then I'll stop changing the subject. It was like Pride Month, a happy Pride, everything. And these companies, they put up all the rainbow flags, and the second June is over, they tear everything down within a 30-mile radius, and they're like, all right, we don't want any of that. So it's like it's performative. And tying that back into the Blizzard thing, I just think they had a lot working against them. And even if Overwatch 2 still has a player base to this day, it's not what is, it's what it could have been, Ray. What they could you imagine had they kept up the hype? No controversies, no whatever else going on. They delivered on story mode. I'd still be playing that game at this point.
Oh, for sure. Like if they had brought in story mode to Overwatch 1, they would have brought in millions of more players, cuz now you have a story-based system to go through. If they had added a movie, millions of more players. If they had built off that movie and said, like, you know what? We're going to keep going further. We're going to give you a show, and that show in the last season, the last episode of that season, we're going to be introducing a character, but we're going to keep it secret until Overwatch 2 is. You could have honestly made the show all the way up to the point when you released Overwatch 2, because even after they dropped that trailer for Overwatch 2, we still had to wait 2 more years for the game to come out. What's two
Oh
more
my gosh, was
years
it
of
2 years?
It was 2 years.
Oh,
And it's like, what can you do in 2 years to get the players ready for the next game? A movie, a show. It literally it literally takes some shows 6 to 8 months to record, shoot, and produce a season. You could have knocked out 2 seasons and then had season 2 end with the cinematic that they gave us for Overwatch 2.
that makes too much sense.
And I
I yeah.
a buddy of mine at work, he says, like, you like, it's like, Ray, you got to stop making sense, man. People don't like it.
Yeah, people don't like sense. They want confusing, they want difficult because they missed a lot of opportunities. And I just also that 2 year window, I think the hype died down. I didn't realize it was 2 years because you see this with game studios. Honestly, at this point, Ray, we should just do an episode on the behaviors of different game studios. But you'll see that where these studios will release like this super detailed cinematic and then radio silence for the next decade. I'm looking at you, Bethesda, but
No,
my
I'm
because
looking Naughty Dog at this
yeah.
point. I'm looking Naughty Dog at this point.
Oh, freaking Naughty Dog. Because Bethesda did that with the Elder Scrolls 6, where they released a teaser like 10 years ago at this point. and we're over here like, I guess it'll come out in my lifetime. Grand Theft Auto 6, I guess. But Kingdom Hearts, guilty for that too, all the time. Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers have been dropping since I was born.
But the thing is, they
Um,
ultimately delivered. It took them 10 years. It took them 10 years, but they delivered. They
Moment of
delivered.
silence. Yeah, so what we're doing with this, folks, is showing you all the different options I think Blizzard had. And now Overwatch 2 is just kind of, nobody talks about it anymore. Marvel Rivals shows you what people want. Okay, this is gonna be like my last big point for you, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And look at it this way. Do you think if they suddenly said tomorrow, we're just going to release Overwatch 1 again, we're going to convert it or at least split it. So if you want to play the original Overwatch the way it used to be, you can. I think it would be a freaking hit. It'd bring everybody back because the formula wasn't broken. It wasn't broken. It was fun. And I'll prove it to you. Marvel Rivals is what Overwatch 1 used to be, and everybody has a blast playing it. It's exactly what Overwatch 2 could have been.
If they separated back into Overwatch 1 and like 1 and 2,
Mhm.
I can probably I would bet, and I don't bet anymore. I would bet if they monitored and checked it for like 6 to 7 months, I guarantee you there'd be a lot more players playing Overwatch 1 and 2. I truly do believe that. Like people would navigate back to 1 because there's something about 1 that just makes people feel like good. And there's some people who have the physical copy of Overwatch 1, like if it, because the country probably believe, folks, the game actually came out on a hard disk before it actually became free for everyone to play. So, you know, I'm pretty sure the people who have the disc and everything, like I'll put it this way: if they were to say we're willing to bring back the service for Overwatch 1, but you have to have a physical copy of the game, I'd buy the physical copy of the game, or I
Yeah,
download it, or whatever way they want. I'd still do it. If I can only play with the physical copy of the game, I get the physical copy because I miss it that much. So
it shows it just was that good and that easy. So you answer that exactly as I thought you would, and that is the fact that it would have been a bigger hit to just keep the formula was never broken,
yep,
and so many games can't say that. Overwatch had the privilege of saying our formula is so fun and addicting we don't have to switch it, but tis what it is.
it is.
And I will say, unless you got another point you want to bring up, I'm ready to answer your question from the beginning of the episode.
I think we pretty much covered Overwatch as a whole. It's this has been one of my favorite topics to talk about, and it's one of my it's still, even though the controversy that's come on, it's still one of my favorite games to play with my buddies, because I said it was a bonding moment for all of us for those 2 to 3 months we were all home together. Like it brought us all close together. So I'm thankful to the game for that, that it gave me an opportunity to bond with so many people. So
And those are the good things that I think we will always remember about it. And I'm going to be such a white girl when I say this, but it is that whole don't cry because it ended, smile because we were just making memories and having, God, that was cheesy, but it's true. Um, there are so many games that I look back on. Sometimes I still jump in, like Minecraft is still the game that has the most hours on my console. But we were just making memories. We were just having good times. COVID was a horrible, depressing, and scary time for a lot of people. And video games were the only outlet. And the amount of hours that we clocked in those games, healthy or not, got us through it.
yep.
And I think I will always be grateful to Overwatch for those memories. And after this episode, I'm going to watch that YouTube video again of us playing. But it's sad to see it go the way it did, but that's the only way new things could come up. I'm sure there's kids right now making new memories, Marvel Rivals, and so on and so forth. And it's just, it's nice. It's nice to say we were there and we had those memories.
And indeed,
And on
indeed.
that, I say thank you. Thank you, Overwatch. Thank you, Ray, for wanting to talk about this and inviting me on.
I do appreciate that. So you told me you do have an answer to the question.
Yes.
Lay it on me. What is your answer?
Okay, so I think I'm actually gonna do process of elimination
Mm-hmm.
while I go through this. I'm gonna just point out all the characters. So you brought up to me. You said Danny Phantom, Static Shock, Miles Morales, Aang, Sora, Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and Luke Skywalker. And I think a lot of them are right there, but I'm gonna go with Aang because as the Avatar, he's got all four elements, and he could do with that whatever he pleased. And technically, any of them could, but I feel like the fate of the entire like realm resides on whether or not Aang decides to harness his powers for good. He could go evil. Aang sounds terrifying. Dark side Luke would be scary, but not as scary. I mean, like if you were to flip everybody to show you, because that's the whole responsibility of power is what you choose to do with it. And how, I mean, look at how many Superman bad guys have we had? Homelander, Omni Man, because people love taking the concept of like, this is what he did with his responsibility, but what if he didn't? And that's what you see here, where it's like, okay, evil Sora, I'm gonna be so for real. Evil Sora can still catch somebody's hands. Like they will beat him senseless. He's not that cool. He's cool. He's got power, but he would get destroyed because Kingdom Hearts 3 reminds us over and over again that he's not the biggest there. Static, I'm going to say, still too young to be the biggest threat. Miles Morales, he's up there. He's got a lot of responsibility. We've seen an evil version of Danny Phantom. Harry Potter, I don't know much about that lore. Um, Aang, hands down, because Aang turns evil, the whole world finishes. So
I
I
like
think
that.
most
I like that.
responsibility on Aang. Thank you, Ray.
I appreciate it. And like I said, folks, the question we posted to my TikTok, and actually it's currently posted to my TikTok now, and I'll be uploading it to my Instagram. But for you, what is out of those eight wonderful young gentlemen, who do you think embodies the words? Dang it, I forgot the words.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Correct. Thank you.
I got you.
And with that, we are going to be ending another episode of the Hard Cannon Podcast. I want to thank my buddy Sparks for joining me once again.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we have many more episodes coming towards you guys because once again, we are starting season 2 and we have a lot more content to put out there. We are talking behind the scenes about many more topics that we can go over. You actually can probably hear some of them in the episode that we went over. So stay tuned and we will let you know when the next episode of the Hard Cannon Podcast drops. Until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.